Hello everybody and welcome to Genius School's Young Entrepreneur Academy launch webinar. So great to have you here. I'm Angie Stead, co-founder and leader of Genius School, and this is Karen Bonanno with me, who is the leader of the Young Entrepreneur Academy. So hi Karen.
Yeah, hi Angie, great to be here and looking forward to sharing the information that we have with our people who are online.
Likewise. So we'll start off with a welcome. So just with a little quote from Nelson Mandela, and I love this quote, and that is, he said that education is the most powerful weapon which we can use to change the world. And there's no truer words than that, I don't believe. And that's why we're on this journey. So for this webinar, we are going to discuss about Genius School, the 3 steps to supercharge your child's learning, tips for co-living and co-learning from toddlers to teens, and how to prepare your child as a future leader. And then also we'll discuss why the current education system is broken or broke, and the new solutions for the education revolution. So,
yeah, Angie, what we might get people to do is in the feed there is to say where they're from so that we get an idea of who's online. And then we can, Angie and I'll go back in later and we'll be able to look at the feed and answer any questions. But right at the moment, we want to focus on making sure that you get some good value from our presentation.
And that's a really good point. So please do post any questions or comments that as we go through the webinar. And like Karen says, we'll nip in after the webinar's finished. So about Genius School. So Genius School was formed because we recognise that the one-size-fits-all model of education is failing many children, resulting in learning that is disengaging, irrelevant and redundant, in fact, especially now. Education is preparing children for jobs that won't even exist by the time they're in the job market. And with over 165 million people globally out of work today, the system is both broke and broken, and our children deserve better. And I think we all know that and understand that to be true. Genius School offers a solution in that we deliver personalised learning pathways for children, actually from people 0 through to end of life. And we recognise that we need to foster the entrepreneurial spirit and so-called soft skills for our children and in our children, so that they can go and create a job rather than go and get a job. So each student will be globally connected to one school where we're all learning and all growing together. So in the spirit of global connection, we can't wait to see where you're from, which part of the world, and to say hi after the webinar. So in 2021, in fact, just a year from now, Genius School is going to be launching its first location-based school and university. We'll still have our virtual global curriculum, but we'll be able to deliver that through location-based schools as well, through a style of education that really personalises the education experience for the child and is based on their individual needs, desires and interests, fostering the entrepreneurial spirit. So we'll also have the ability for children, even though our curriculum is going to be very holistic and it's not tailored towards standardized testing, we will have the children in our schools will have the ability to take all the usual standardized testing and school leaving exams, should they choose to do so. But we will coach them on how to pass those exams. So we will be teaching them all the quantum learning techniques that Supercamp teach their students, how to, creative writing, speed reading, speed writing, study skills, etc., etc. So we're really setting them up for success. But passing those exams is literally just a means to an end. It's not the reason that we exist. Far from it, in fact. Because in Genius School, we teach students how to think and not what to think, which is the key to being a lifelong learner. And here's another great quote by Einstein, and we can't not have an Einstein quote in education for Genius School. So education is what remains after one has forgotten everything they learned at school. And that says it all to me. You know, it's about being a lifelong learner, knowing how to learn, and knowing, having that intrinsic motivation to go out and be curious enough to have the desire and the curiosity to go and learn ourselves. It's not about us delivering knowledge and information or memorizing techniques. So the Genius School curriculum is based around self-mastery, leadership, life skills, and self-expression. We are very much, that's about philanthropy. It's knowing and growing your unique talents, being able to work with a team, develop leadership skills, develop life skills and communication, and then be able to express oneself through either both, I should say, the creative arts, but also self-expression around emotional intelligence, etc. And then we have the love of the world around us, philosophy. So it's about discovering and building decision-making, researching, building skills, planning, being actually able to structure learning and structure projects that take you on a journey of discovery towards an entrepreneurial enterprise or a project, being resourceful and being able to use the tools around us, including technology, to really contribute to as a global citizen in society. So, and our Young Entrepreneur Academy is very much structured this way as well, and we'll share a bit more later on in the webinar about how we do that, but it definitely covers this Genius School curriculum. And then just to look at the 3 steps to supercharge your child's learning, if we look at the curriculum, we can see that there are 3 key points, 3 pillars to education for our curriculum, and that is around knowing oneself, self-awareness, then self-mastery, being able to master our emotions and our skills and our talents and to grow and develop them towards self-expression. And that's where we go out in the world and we really express our true genius and make a valuable contribution to society. So then we look at the curriculum and tips for co-living and co-learning. And our curriculum starts for under 8 with a play-based curriculum. Now, it's really critical that for children under 8 that we allow them to follow their own curiosity. And growth is stimulated by asking the question why. And any of you who have preschool children or children under 8 or no children under 8, you will know that that's a constant question they keep asking, because that's the stage they're at in their development. And to support their learning has to be experiential, and they have to be able to practically and hands-on go and explore and experience the world around them and follow their own curiosity, which intrinsically motivates them to learn, because curiosity is not something that you have or do. It's actually an emotion. It's an energy that comes through all of us and that drives our need and desire for information, knowledge and skills. So we really need to make sure that in our play-based curriculum that we harness that, we tap into it and we use that to drive learning for children. And then that links then really nicely to, for older children, we look at a slightly different curriculum, but it's still very much using play, but it's play and solving problems. So it's giving children problems to solve and giving them the freedom to go and solve it using their unique talents and abilities, with some guidance, with facilitation from teachers and learners. And we definitely do this within the YAY program. So for our younger children, they may come up with a project. It might be a community project. We've had children in our camps and within the YAY program have a community project for picking up dog poo off the streets. She came up with an amazing solution actually by making a container that was clipped to the lamppost, and the container was recycled water bottles. And she simply used cable ties to clip them to the lamppost with a notice to say, please put your recycled plastic bag in this container and use it for poop scooping. And she made local BBC News, I think it was.
Yes, it was. It was BBC News. It was looking at what she had done to clean up her local park.
And it was adopted, wasn't it, in the whole community, which is why she made the news. And what a really simple solution and great initiative on her part. So, and so that's basically having a project, giving children problems to solve based on their unique passions and purpose. And then through the inquiry-based learning process, get them to explore possibilities and come up with their own solutions. So Karen, I'd like you to talk a little bit about this because you have a great strategy for teaching this process.
Yes, thanks, Angie. Yes, so if you want to just stop sharing screen and then we can get full camera here because I need everybody to be with me here so that they've got their hand up in front of you so that what we do is we use all of our digits on our hand to understand the 5 W's and how. And this is the kind of a creative inquiry process. And for us, we're looking at getting that inquisitive entrepreneur spirit happening with our young people, but also teaching them a strategy, how to use open-ended questions, because it's with open-ended questions that you get a quality answer. Whereas if just ask a question that's a yes or no, then it's what we call the closed question. So these are open-ended questions, and we use this because our thumb is our why question, and that's the most important one because, as Angie said, it's kind of linking to the project and the purpose and the reason why you would do something. And of course, with our thumb, if we didn't have our thumb, it would make it hard for us to pick up a glass or a pen, or even, for those of us who are using our thumbs to do our texting on our phone, then we wouldn't be very good at all of that. We could do it, but we wouldn't be doing it at our best and our most optimum ability. So then this is our why, and if we connect it to our genius energies, or what we talk about with the kids is our genius smarts, this is our purpose smart. And this is our hairy, audacious goal that we set that gets us on our path for success. Then when we come to our pointer finger, which is the one that always is telling us what to do, then this is our what question. And this is our focus then for our creativity, what product we might produce, what project or what program, or it's dealing with a question about what. And this is our dynamo energy, which is our ideas smart. Then we move on to our tall finger, the one standing right up high, and this is all about people. It's about us, who we are. If we're talking entrepreneurs, we're talking who your customer is, who your team is. So these are important. It stands up tall. And this is where we need to be thinking about focusing on people, being people smart. Then we go to our ring finger, and this is where we talk about our tempo energy, which is our senses and services smart. And this is the when and the where, because our tempo, if you think tempo, the tick-tock, tick-tock, it's all about timing. And so this is looking at the relationships, it's looking at timing. And so this is our questions here of when and where. And our last one is the little pinky, which sometimes we forget about, but it's needing to be detail smart. So that's our steel energy. And this is our how question. So just a quick review. And this is easy because if you touch, it connects it anchors this in. So your why, your what, your who, your when, where, and your how. And that's the way that we teach our kids the inquiry questions, but we also teach them the energies. We teach them the purpose, the spirit. We teach them the ideas, the dynamo. We teach them the blaze and the who. We teach them the tempo and the when, where. And we teach the steel, which is the how. So we've got all of that, and just using your hand as your trigger point.
Thank you, Karen. That's really, really clever. And what's especially clever about that is our brain is wired to memorize locations. So not only do you have the physical touch and the anchors that way and linking each point to a finger or an easy memorization technique, but because it's located somewhere on our body, it's easier for children to remember as well. So I think that's genius, Karen.
Thank you, Angie.
Thank you. So So yes, so we talked about the exploration of possibilities. Again, this is project-based or inquiry-based learning, is giving children problems to solve and allowing them to use all their different inquiries to go and solve that problem. And that inquiry can be about the project or the problem, but it can be a question they ask themselves as well, which then can support self-reflection or reflecting around the success of that learning opportunity. So, which is another really important skill, which then links to purpose-based learning. So this brings us into the part of the webinar around how to prepare your child as a future leader. And that happens by giving them a good reason to learn and a good reason to stand for something that they believe in. And then you're going to bring the best out in them, helping them to understand that actually they are perfectly perfect geniuses, unique in every way. There's nobody else in the world out there like them, and they are perfect. But then so too is everybody else. So if we understand that, and we understand that each of us has a unique talent and a unique ability and a unique personality, and unique skills, then they know then that they can use their weaknesses, somebody else's strengths, I should say, to complement their weaknesses. And we teach that leadership is about bringing the best out in other people to support your promotion or your project. And to do that, we need to first recognize in ourselves what's great about us and what's special about us and what we stand for. So we use the Ikigai, which is the Japanese concept of purpose. We use that to help them see help them understand that whole idea, but also to help them find their unique passions and purpose. So the Ikigai is essentially when you can do what you love, what you're passionate about, what's important to you, with what you're good at, and what the world needs and what you can be paid for, then that sweet spot, the little blue dot in the middle of the diagram here, is called the Ikigai. And if we can live our life in that sweet spot, then we can live a purposeful, meaningful and fulfilled life. And we saw this, Karen, didn't we, with there's one particular attendee at our Yay program that comes to mind when we talk about this. And that was a young lady who we might share a bit later on, but she was not sure what to do for her business or her promotion. And it was when she really tuned into her passions and her purpose that she truly understood what business to actually create. And she came up with, I think she was only 10, and came up with the most fantastic business idea and promotion. But what guided her was understanding what mattered to her and what her purpose was. Karen, did you want to add any more to that?
Well, yes, I mean, it was a case of she was flip-flopping with ideas and was very creative in that regard. But as you say, it wasn't until she truly connected with what she was wanting to focus on, what she saw as the bigger picture for what she could do, what impact she could have on the world, that then she started to see, okay, this is what I can do for my business.
Yeah, cool. So then we look at, when we're looking at leadership, you know, it's about standing for something. It's about leading the way forwards with a business idea or a project. And how do you do that? How do you actually get people engaged with what you're doing? How can you bring team on, and how can you get the resources that you need to make it happen? So we teach this in Yay, Young Entrepreneur Academy, by taking them through the whole promotion planning process, which is very purpose-based. It's entrepreneurial, and it's about giving back. It's about expressing your unique talents and abilities through a business. So we teach them to use a promotion plan to actually develop their project or their business. And most of them chose to go down the route of the business idea, even the 10-year-olds. And basically what we teach through this process is we use a promotion plan as a tool for learning, and we get the students to set up their learning objectives. So they'd have a learning objective, a development objective, and a financial objective. And the idea is that through every promotion plan cycle, we are both learning and we're earning, because remember that we're teaching them to be lifelong learners, and that, you know, we're on a learning journey, and it's about learning what works for your promotion, what works for your business, and how to make money in doing so, so that you can make a valuable contribution in society and also grow a business for yourself. So this can be used as a project also if somebody wanted to go and just make a difference in their community, rather than create a whole business. So Karen, would you like to share a little bit more about the YAY program and how we take them through that process?
Well, with the promotion plan, we actually have a framework that we take them through, and that forms the basis then that allows them, so I guess in a way it's like the bone structure, the skeleton, and then we allow them to follow their own passions and purpose to put the meat onto the bones. Yeah. So that way then they can start to own it. They need to have this very close to themselves, as really so that they're passionate about what they're doing, because if they're not passionate about, then they're not going to be engaged in seeing this forward. And as we say, that the promotion plan is for a time, but then they will need to renew this and review this as they progress through. And for us, because we're developing that entrepreneurial mindset, it's how then they grow with their business as well. So we provide them with the framework, we provide them with the content, and then also the processes of learning as they go through. So it's a more of an integrated approach to how we take them through that journey and that learning and earning journey that they participate in for the Young Entrepreneur Academy program.
So true. And we teach them also through this process that their business is a reflection of themselves. So every time they cycle through a promotion, of course, they're growing, their learning, they're implementing their development, that new learning into their business and their earning. And that gives them the opportunity then to cycle up their level of consciousness. So as their business has grown, so too is their knowledge and ability. So it's actually a tool for growth for both them and their business. And then when we come to the education system and we look at the process we've taken our students through on YAY and how we've developed them and the learning dispositions as a young entrepreneur, then we need, when we reflect back on education and why that needs to change and why the system is broken and broke, we can see the contrast between the experience that most learners, students have in school compared to what we provide in Genius School and many other amazing education institutions. So Carol, would you like to talk to this?
Well, this report comes from the World Economic Forum. And interestingly, it was a report that was written pre the COVID pandemic crisis, but it was talking about future schools and what future schools actually needed. In that, it also identified different examples around the world of schools that were addressing this particular process. And of course, one of them that maybe most of us have heard about is the Green School Bali. Yes. Interestingly enough, Angie, that when the pandemic hit, and it probably was all in planning, I would no doubt say that was the case, but all of a sudden, schools like that began to grow exponentially. And so within a few months, we were starting to hear about the Green School New Zealand opening up. And then it was Green School Africa, and then Green School, I think, Mexico. So what we see happening out of this crisis is there is this education shift from where we're looking at a traditional system that has served us for a period of time, but is no longer serving us because of this crisis that has hit us, and we've all had to rethink how we work, live and play. And for our kids, this is a prime opportunity to get them to start to engage and think at a higher level. And if you look at some of the skills and the aspects around that particular circle there, you'll see some of the lifelong skills that they're going to need to develop, but also the type of learning environments that they need to be in as well. So you see personalised, self-paced, inclusive learning, problem-based, lifelong. And so this report is actually quite timely in considering the current circumstances that we find ourselves in.
And also it maps directly to the Genius School curriculum as well, which is so cool. and our process, you know, the way that we deliver, the way that we learn alongside our students, preparing them with the skills for the future, which is the 5 C's here. So we've got collaboration, which includes communication, curiosity, compassion, critical thinking, and creativity. So some of these skills, many of these skills, like compassion for sure, was considered soft skills. You know, those interpersonal skills were considered less important than the skills of retaining knowledge and being able to pass exams. And now the world is starting to recognize that actually these are the critical skills. These are the skills that the students need to go and create jobs or businesses for themselves. Because right now, I think it's between 60 and 70 or 80% of jobs that exist right now will not exist when our school children actually go out into the workforce. So they are going to have to create a whole new set of professions, jobs, or businesses, wherever their interest is, and there'll be things that we couldn't even imagine right now. So of course they need to be creative. They need to have critical thinking skills. They certainly need to be working together and collaborating as they follow their own curiosity, because that's where they're going to find the solutions. They're not going to find them by looking in textbooks or learning information from the past. They need to create a whole new future. And, you know, we saw amazing transformation, amazing businesses come out of our Young Entrepreneur Academy students and their plans by giving them the opportunity to really understand who they were, developing their self-awareness and helping them see that they make a valuable contribution, and, you know, their unique genius needs to be expressed to the world through their business. So I think the proof is there for sure. And that's where we saw a rapid shift. You know, Karen was talking about she was talking about the recent pandemic and what impact that had on education. And what we're seeing is that now there's been a rapid shift from traditional education to more hybrid learning, which has had to redefine the role of the educator. You know, we no longer think, and even that term, you know, it's not about the teacher being the font of all knowledge. Parents are now educators. We've got teachers, of course, are too, but it's not about the teacher holding all the wisdom for the child. It's about children learning in a community of educators. And what does that look like, and how does that work? And what we know is that learning is about not teaching information, but about facilitating learning. And there's many, many aspects to that, but definitely having the child at the center of that and being able to personalize and individualize education is definitely the key. And if we can do that based on the child's individual interests and passions, then they're going to develop the dispositions of a learner. Because learning involves a process where, you know, children follow their own curiosity. But in order for learning to be effective, we have to be resilient. We have to persist through difficulty, and we have to be prepared to explore the unknown. And these skills or dispositions that are innate when we are really, really interested in something are what are going to really engage us in the learning process. And if we're engaged, then we're learning. So it's a win-win-win, whichever way you put it. So, Carol, would you like to add anything to what I just talked about there? Because I know you've got particular wisdom in this area.
Yes, I actually enjoy reading the articles from the World Economic Forum because they have some rich information, not just around education, but others as well. And for this, the key point that I see there, and it's one of the items that they raise in this report, is that role of the educator needs to move towards facilitating development. Rather than being, as you say, the person who holds the knowledge. And another report that I have read, and there are a number of research reports actually produced by a group here in Australia called the Foundation for Young Australians, and they have looked at a lot of different things. And one that they looked at was like the work smarts, and also what happens as a result of the impact of automation and globalisation, and the fact that people will be working across diverse cultural environments as well. And the one point that pops out there is that continuous learning.
Yes.
So in that report, it says that a third of a person's working life is going to be constantly having to learn. And so if we have the skill development with these young people, like this, the few slides before of the 5 C's of learning, but there's more than that as well. I mean, there's different variations of this, but if we can have those skills being developed through purpose-based learning, then we can have our young people are in an ideal position to be able to step up and engage with that constant learning to stay ahead. And with our Young Entrepreneur Academy, we are talking about that earning and learning process.
Yes, absolutely. And, you know, it also on that slide, it does feature as entrepreneurial skills are critical for the future. And the entrepreneurial skills are those dispositions of an entrepreneur. You know, it's those that persist when everybody else has given up that often have the biggest breakthroughs. And, you know, to value those learning dispositions and allow children to learn at their own pace through exploration and being flexible with how learning happens, where learning happens and when learning happens is critical to learning success, because we all know what it's like when, you know, you're doing something you love and you're in flow and you're really, you know, starting to have breakthroughs, and then to have someone say, right, that's the end of the lesson, time to stop now and let's move on to something that we hate. You know, it's so disheartening for young people when actually, if we're allowed to persist and really move through those challenges in learning, then the best breakthroughs come, and also creativity can happen in that space. Because to be truly creative, we do need an element of restriction because that supports the creative process. So to face challenges, you'll come up with your most creative solutions as well. Yeah. So it's really, really interesting, and it's so great to see all this research that is just proving what we believe to be true in our hearts. Yeah. So let's move on to the solutions. One of the solutions that Genius School offers, and that's the Young Entrepreneur Academy. Now, our second academy is going to run from the 2nd through to the 27th of November this year. So Karen, I'd like to come back over to you because you're the leader of this whole program. So would you like to share some more about this?
Yeah, Angie, thank you. So as you can see on the left-hand side there, it says it's a 4-week virtual camp. Now, it's not 4 weeks solid. We'll give you a bit of explanation here. What happens is that there is a mentoring session, and what we do, we bring in experienced entrepreneurs who are successful in their business, and they actually enjoy sharing their wisdom with our young people. So that happens on our Monday, Wednesday and Friday, and that's for an hour. And it's interactive engagement there with their sharing, and also we have our facilitators online as well to help them. Then there's another hour in that day that we ask the young person to go away and think about how they would apply that, or even to think about the questions that they would ask, because then on the Tuesday and Thursday we have what we call our facilitation implementation sessions and days. And what happens there is the facilitator kind of unpacks the content and helps the child or the children to understand what some of the terminology is. And some of the amazing things that have happened in our last program was that we had mentor sessions, and we'd all go, oh my goodness, you know, will these kids get this? Will they understand all of these concepts? And the next day we just see these young people just embracing the terminology, applying it, and then with some help and facilitation, they just have these massive breakthroughs and they actually get the content. And we go, wow, you know, maybe we should teach adults this way because of the breakthrough that we see the kids having. So that's kind of how we go through the particular program. But also too, we have 2 levels there. We have a junior camp and we have a senior. So the junior is the 10 to 13 and the senior is 14 to 18. And so on the mentor days, it's our groups, but then in the facilitation implementation days, it's smaller groups, because we have our genius educators with smaller groups working with our young people to help them to apply their learning within the context of their idea, not what we think, it's what their idea is, and then we help them to grow through that process. So it does ignite the genius in the child because it is working from their position. So going back before where Angie was talking about the ikigai, so we're connecting their passion, their talent, their purpose, and what they can be paid for. So we're bringing all that together in our Young Entrepreneur Academy program.
And that, when, you know, we often ask children what they want to be or do when they grow up. And it's probably one of the hardest questions. You know, some children know as practically as soon as they're born what they want to do. They're the lucky ones, but many don't. So to use a tool like this to give them some sense of direction is really supportive, because you might not know what you want to do, but you might know what you want to stand for. So you might know your purpose or what matters to you. So, you know, all of these are tools that help young people to just navigate their way through what is actually a very challenging but very opportunistic time to be alive. So these are so important skills. And these skills like this are not taught in school generally, or most schools. So they will be soon with what we're doing. But most students don't get access to this information. So that's why we're here, and that's why we're doing this, because we see the massive difference it makes to the not only the child's or young person's ability to go and create a whole business just in 4 weeks and then even launch it. We had many launch their business before the academy ended, but also to grow their level of confidence, to really believe in themselves and to have a very compelling future and something to work towards. And in that, we'd really like to share, would we, Karen?
Yes,
what one of our young people had to say about the program. And she put this together herself and just sent it to us with a thank you. And I just think it's beautiful. So I'll stop sharing, Karen.
Okay, let me get it in place before we do our share, and then I'll do our share screen. There we go. So hopefully, Angie, you're seeing...
Yes. Yes.
We'll just get that up into a full view. So here we've got Tyler Lee, and Tyler Lee came to us. She had an idea of what she wanted to do, but then as the 4 weeks progressed, she was really able to consolidate her ideas, but then own them as well. And in her final plan that she shared with us, you could really see that this was her unique promotion plan. It wasn't the old template that we gave her. She actually added her colours, her images. She was just very, very creative in the whole process. And because of that, what happens is these young people can actually speak to their plan because they own it. And so what we've got here is a little message, as Angie said, that she sent to us. So here we go.
Hi, I'm Tyler Lee Matei. I have just graduated from the Young Entrepreneur Academy 2020, and I am so happy to be one of the lucky few. Over this course, I have learned so many different things, and it has given me a whole new perspective on how to reach my goals and dreams and how to become the me I am meant to be. I want to give a big thank you to all of the mentors and all of the students that have come alongside me on this journey.
And I'm Charmaine. I'm a parent, flow consultant and an educator, connecting with youth of all ages. And the kids of today, they really want to make a difference. Finding the Genius U Academy, we have global leaders that are ready to equip the youth to show them how to make things happen. Watching them, finding their true potential, discovering who they are with the talent dynamics, and then igniting their passion. It's been absolutely magical.
Hi,
we've got hi. Let me just stop that there.
Thanks, Karen. And magical it is. And I've said this before, but I love to watch her face when she's sharing that. It's just so lovely. So also, we can go on and share some of the promotions. So we've had, these are just a few. We've had amazing businesses come out of this, and it's very, very difficult to choose any as an example. So we just picked two. So Ben was one of our winners, was the winner. So we thought we'd maybe share his. So Ben won. His business is Kidfinity X. And Karen, would you like to share a bit about Ben's journey?
Yes, Ben actually had a business in podcasting that he was working with. But what he wanted to do, he wanted to take it up to another level. And so he came with his idea and then really got some benefit from the mentors and the information that they shared with him so that he could actually start to say, well, okay, what is it that I'm doing? Because he came from a point of, I am passionate about podcasting and had a product, but then there was this shift of, well, what is it actually that someone needs? What problem can I solve? And that's when he stepped into the point of going, okay, there are young people out there who have a voice, who want to be heard, but they don't know the pathway or the media that they can use to do that. And so what Ben has done is he has made his podcasting service available to young people that then they can have their voice heard. So I think he says here about people who want to actually have the ability to public speak or want to be a leader. And so this is actually the podcaster Pete that he's reaching out to. And so with Ben's project, he went through each of it. He even explored and investigated his competitors to say, well, okay, who else is out there doing something? What can I do differently? And the interesting thing is we, as part of the program, we do some bonus sessions after the 4 weeks. And it was during that bonus session that Ben had a breakthrough where he realised that his price point was not enough for him to be able to pay his team the way he wanted to. So he has someone who does his editing, and he was going, oh, you know, I'm only paying them $2 an hour, so something's wrong here because they're doing such a great job. So it's all of that that happens, and we kind of nurture them through that and continue to facilitate their learning even beyond the 4 weeks of the academy. So for Ben, he had that breakthrough, but also too, you can see here, he just really owned his promotion plan.
You know what's amazing about this? I mean, just look at the standard, look at the quality of this plan. It beats most adult plans, I can tell you that for sure, because I've done masters about 6-7 times.
Yeah. And also too, Angie, I shouldn't neglect to say here that Ben and his mate Noah, they were actually interviewed on one of the USA stations on a program about what did you do during COVID over the summer break, and these guys were interviewed about their amazing experience during the Young Entrepreneur Academy program and the way that they actually took their business to another level.
That's so cool. And Ben is only 13, as you can see here. It's so good to see a young person who can create something like this. You know, he was so coachable, wasn't he, Karen? Just amazing young man. And yeah, and so clear about his identity as well. So, and here's a completely different promotion. I'd like for us to share Ella's. Now, Ella has got a very different style and very different promotion, but look, she's even got her own publishing company, and it is about books, so I can understand it, but it's really beautifully put together with a great vision. So, Karen, would you like to share more about Ella?
Well, Ella, when we first started in the first week, she was sharing her passion about extreme sport, and then was thinking about, well, what could I do that could be involving with extreme sport? And a little bit of flip-flop here and there, but over the time, as we drew all those ingredients together for the Ikigai, she started to see that she could take her passion but also solve a problem. And the problem that she was solving was that all of these mums with their kids are all at home, mums having to try and work, the kids are kind of getting irritated, want to do things. So she decided that she would solve a problem here by creating activity booklets that would occupy the children for 30 minutes or so and allow mum to have a bit of a break to be able to focus on what she wanted to do. And in that process, Ella began to realise that she could match her passion for extreme sport into these booklets. And so you can see there, I'm my own superhero. So what she did, she got some of the people who she follows with extreme sport to be part of creating some of that material. So it's all these activity booklets for kids so that they also, as you can see there, just stay there, Angie, for me, thanks, so that she can see that they're also learning about women who have achieved their own definition of success. So you can see there's a higher level and a higher purpose there for her in that process.
Yeah, so cool. And also I noticed on her give back, she had donations to buy one, give one.
Supporting girls in education. So this is something that it's all part of our curriculum, as you would have seen. There's that sort of philanthropic process that we also instill. And there was a magic moment in the finance session that Deborah Harris did, where she really gave them the formulas that they could use to be looking at giving that certain percentage back of their earning.
Yeah. And you can see how, they're very, very clear. I mean, Ella here is very clear about her objectives, or what she wants to achieve through the promotion plan, what her value cycle is, what she's offering, the pathway, how she's going to bring customers on, who's part of her team. She's roped in family and friends, mum and dad, and a friend as well, which is fantastic. It's about leveraging those around you, how she's going to grow her social community, etc., etc. And we could go on, lots of detail in here, but fantastic promotion plan. Thank you, Karen. And I could go on, but I don't think we need to bore you with all of them at this stage. Yeah, so Karen, can we talk more here about how people can be involved in Young Entrepreneur?
Yes, certainly, Angie. I can actually go to the page where we are. So share screen again with you folk. So this is our page where you will find information about the Young Entrepreneur Academy. As you can see at the top part here, that just represents that image that Angie had there, which gives you the 2 programs, the start date. And then it goes down about how you can join the Young Entrepreneur Academy and what happens. We won't go through Genius School because we've spent a bit of time talking about that, but it looks at the reasons for why you may want your child to be involved, or even if you're a grandparent. We had that happening during the last event. We also had parents and their kids being involved, so we had family. And it's a great way to earn and learn together. And for some of them, they had these magic moments where the conversation around the table changed. It changed from talking science and mathematics as being what you need to get a job, to looking at leadership and entrepreneurship where you create your job. And so here we've got kids developing their confidence, but we've also got them learning some of those higher level skills, and also mixing with people who are going to be their wisdom guides, the mentors that we have, and our facilitators being there as well. And I'll just make a little note here. Probably can't see it too clearly in the little writing here, but we have a little competition running so that in the 4th week, they get the chance to pitch their project to us or their promotion plan to us. And then we have some winners, and there is monetary prize plus also some other extra tools and resources that we give them to help them to expand their business even further. So it's a great way for them to learn how to speak up about their business and pitch it as well. So in the program, we have our 4 weeks. So as I said, we have the Monday, Wednesday, Friday, but then we have the implementation sessions as well. I spoke about what happens when we have these breakthrough moments with the bonus sessions. We have 4 of those post the event. And then this is a crucial point here. The child as well as the adult gets a talent dynamic. So we give the talent dynamics profiling tool for the young person, but also the adult gets, or the parent gets, a talent dynamics. And this is really crucial because it forms the basis on which we develop. So it identifies their natural talents, capabilities and strengths. It gives them a lot of information about how they learn best, how they communicate best. Also, they understand also the other profiles around the talent dynamic square. But this is what we use as the foundation and the starting point. So that's a really valuable tool. We're hosting 2 streams at our 2nd to the 27th of November, the junior, which is from 10 to 13, the senior, which is 14 to 18. And so in that, here's a little bit more information. And of course, you can go to this page and you can find out more about that. But here it's focusing on our key learning outcomes. And this is where I go back to the framework that we use. It's like a 10-step framework and out of that, each frame, each step allows them to achieve something. And so we don't overload them. We do it like a bit at a time. It's like, you know, you eat the elephant one mouthful at a time, and then that way then you're progressing through, and it's all linked to how they develop their promotion plan for their business or their project or their program that they're wanting to launch. And then, of course, we have our great faculty here. We have our mentors who share very freely their wisdom that they have in running a business. And then we have our facilitators who are right there by their side, helping them to understand what the program is all about and how they apply that to their business. A nice letter here from Roger and Angie. So they're co-founders of Genius School. So some of you may know Roger Hamilton, and also you've got Angie here on the call, and there's a letter there that they have shared with you. So here's the steps that you need to take if you're interested in knowing more about what the Young Entrepreneur Academy is about. There is an application link down the bottom of the page, and I'll get to that in a moment. But this is an opportunity for you to have a call with one of our Genius experts. So they'll be able to answer questions that you might have in relation to your child and what opportunities are there for you, but also how you can be involved in the Young Entrepreneur Academy and how that might fit for you. And what happens then is once you make that decision, then it's really how we engage and how we bring the child on and you on to be able to go through the 4 weeks with us so that you know where you can access the resources and how you can be involved. We have a private circle, a private group, which is only available for the families and children. And we do that because we're conscious of the fact that we are working with young people in those spaces. So this is, you know, a focus on who can join, and there's a whole array here. You may be a homeschooling parent, and so you're wanting to have added value to what you're teaching your young person in your household, or you may be an educator who's wanting to go deeper into understanding how to do this focus on purpose-based, inquiry-based. It's like mashing all of that together. It's the passion, the purpose, the inquiry, the fun, the play. All of this comes together in our Young Entrepreneur program. But most of all, it's really focusing on the development of the young person in this whole program. This goes into what you actually get, and we've covered some of that in the above area, but this is another extra little bonus I guess we bring in, and this is probably more for the parents, but also so that you can understand how you can support the ongoing development of your child's learning through our Genius Entrepreneur Mastermind. And these are sessions with Roger, and there are 11 calls, so there's one each month. And this is where you can ask questions and you can get more information. But also, Roger uses this time to focus on some of these excellent entrepreneurs who become part of our program to share their wisdom with the kids. So the enrolment price here is $997 to you. So it's a huge saving, because if you add all of that together, there's a huge value there. We do have a budget conscious program here, but most people we find actually want the interactivity, because the budget program is just you doing it yourself, whereas the Young Entrepreneur Academy is we're there all the time holding the hand of your child as we go through. So we feel honoured and humbled actually when we are spending time with these kids, because we see this massive transformation taking place when they're with us during the program. And we also see the parents coming to us and saying, wow, you know, this is amazing what is happening. And they go, you know, I was working with my child doing their future vision. I was working with my child looking at their customer avatar, and I've started to learn things myself. So it's a great opportunity to learn together as a family. And we've got some little testimonials there. Here's Ben we focused on, and this is Sylvia, Ben's mum. So we get that information there as well. And then this gives you like a summary of what's involved and what you get. So we've got, you know, 60 places there, and we really need to look at giving you that opportunity to be on board, because we will love that chance to work with them. So this is just the last point here, where if you're wanting to come in and have a call so that you can talk with one of our Genius people, our Genius team. So you just need to fill out your details there, and then you can actually book a call with them, and they'll take you through that. And just at the bottom, Angie, we've got some frequently asked questions here that people may want to explore. So this page gives you a lot of information, and for those who prefer to look at the detail, it's all there for you. And I'm hoping that someone would have put that into the actual chat or into the Facebook feed there that's on the side. I'm sure we've got one of our team there who've done that for you so that you can actually follow up on the link as well. So it's a great opportunity. It's an opportunity for the child. It's an opportunity for the parent. It may even be that you're a business person and you're wanting to give back to your community or give back to your employees. This is a wonderful gift to give them, because it really starts to bring out that entrepreneurial spirit. And of course, we know with the education system being stuck where it is, we want our kids to be able to become entrepreneurs, not wait for the job, because as Angie said right at the beginning, there are jobs, 70, 80% of the jobs we have now are not going to be there when our kids actually progress through formal education. So it's important for us to embrace the moment where our kids get the chance to actually create their own job by following their passion and their purpose and utilising their natural talent, skills and capabilities.
Well said, Karen. Absolutely true. And what we've seen with the young people that have gone through the Young Entrepreneur Academy is I am confident, hand on heart, that every one of them can go and make a real success of their business. And even for those who might change their business and change their plans, that skill of being able to create a business plan and a profitable project and actually get it launched is there forever, and they can apply that learning to absolutely anything. So it's an amazing program and an amazing experience for them and for us as facilitators. And I think we might have just a few minutes, Karen. I wonder whether we share Benjamin's.
Okay, let me do a little bit of a juggle and a shuffle here.
I just think it's so lovely. And again, this was put together by them. We didn't seek it. They just sent it to us as a thank you. And it's just so beautiful.
All right. Let me be technology smart here.
We had a laugh at Young Entrepreneur Academy because a couple of the young, very smart children who were good at technology thought we were really old. In fact, I think we were dinosaurs in their mind. And we had one student who created his whole business around supporting old people like us, people over 50, with their technology, which was
you're generous there, Angie, very generous. All right, let's this is Ben and Vanessa. They're siblings. We've been introduced to Ben. Vanessa also developed her own business, and this was around helping to provide some activity resources for mums to help their kids be able to sleep. So Vanessa did her promotion plan as well, and here's this magic story that they've shared of their experience and their journey with us.
Hi, I'm Benjamin Mom.
And we're graduates from the Young Entrepreneur Academy.
I think my favorite part of it was being able to put all my thoughts and ideas into words. As a star, as someone who thinks a lot of new ideas and enjoys working with other people, the promotion plan was really instrumental in me being able to see my entire, what my brain is doing in paper.
And going along with promotion plans, I loved our facilitator sessions where we got personalized advice on how to best build and improve our promotion plans. We also got multiple mentors who taught us lessons about purpose, communities, and finances. What was your favorite mentor session?
I think for me it was Deborah Harris' session on finances, because it seems like a very complicated, scary topic, but the way she presented it with cupcakes made it seem a lot more fun.
Yeah, I really liked Kathleen Hamilton's mentor session about communities, because as for my business, Kitty Bean, I really like to center around the idea of a community, and she taught a lot of ways that we can best engage and make our communities the most welcoming.
Yeah, so I think this is it for now. We really wanted to thank UNICU. It's a great opportunity and a great way to brush up on our entrepreneur skills.
And we definitely recommend it if you're looking into anything business related. Doesn't matter if you're completely a beginner or you have experience.
So that's our great Vanessa and Ben.
So cool. Thanks, Karen. And notice, I love how Ben says, you know, when he talks about Deb's session being really scary because it was all about finance and numbers, and he found it with their style of delivery to be really good. I mean, that to come from a star, that's great. And also what was clever about Ben is he did that promotional video for us, but also promoted his own business, Kidfinity, because it was all over his T-shirt, which I thought was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Really good. So, so I just want to remind everybody here that, you know, if you want to be involved, please do come and join the Young Entrepreneur Academy. Either, you know, you could sponsor, your own child might want to come, or you might want to sponsor a niece or nephew or grandchild, as many people did. And also, if you have a business and you're interested in really giving a young person a real great kickstart in life, then do call us, book a call, and just tell us that you're interested in sponsoring a child or children, and we'll put together a special sponsorship pack for you. But it's so, I mean, heartwarming, and feels so good to make such a massive difference to young people. So I definitely encourage any business to do that. And we'll also let you know about the journey and the progress that they've made. So, but we can talk to you about that when you book a call. And one final word I'd like to leave you with is this quote by John Dewey, which is, education is not preparation for life. Education is life itself. And so we definitely taught that on the Young Entrepreneur Academy through that earning and learning cycle. So I'll just leave you with that final thought. And thank you all for attending. And hopefully we'll see you in November at the Young Entrepreneur Academy. Thank you, Karen.
Thank you, Angie.
Everybody else.